So today we are going to see how to send email using Spring Boot programming, and along with that I am going to show introduction of auto configuration. Okay, auto configuration feature, if you want to understand, we have to write at least one chapter other than Spring basics, that is boot basics. So here we are going to see a new concept, that is Spring Boot email programming. It's actually our actual concept. Okay, along with this we are going to learn a concept of auto configuration. Okay, observe carefully. First of all, we see some points related to email programming. Then we'll come to configuration and auto configuration also. If you want to send email using Java application, there is a Java mail sender. This is the API name. Okay, there is a Java mail sender API is given by Sun Microsystem. Now part of actually it's a Oracle. Okay, which is given by Sun Microsystem here. By using this API, we can send emails. Okay, by using Java application, we can send emails to one person or multiple person with attachments or without attachments here. Okay, that supports a protocol called SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Okay, here that's actually Java Mail Sender API. It supports sending emails using Java applications with SMTP protocol. With the SMTP protocol usage, supports even attachments and all. Okay, so this Java Mail API is simplified using Spring Boot email programming. Actually, pure Java Mail API is actually very lengthy. Spring Boot said, yes, we are going to simplify this with the major requirements. And we mention what are the things required by programmer and what we are going to do here. Okay, so Spring Boot, that is actually Spring framework. Now we are working with a Spring Boot actually here, has simplified Java Mail API using one interface and implementation concept that is called POJI and POJO. POJI, POJO means, remember here, interface and implementation. It's a design pattern. Whenever you see a word POJI, POJO, remember there is actually plain old Java interface. Plain old Java interface and plain old Java IMPL class object. Okay, implementation class object. It's actually class object, not only class, it's object. Okay, in your example here, just I'm showing here, it's an interface. I employee is an interface. I employee service is an interface. Okay, something ES is equals to new employee service IMPL, like this. Okay, this is implementation class and object. This is POJO. Okay, and this is an interface. Okay, why this design pattern I'll show here. Observe. Okay, Spring framework, that is internal using Spring Boot, has simplified Java Mail API using a POJO concept here. That name is actually Java Mail Sender is the interface. Java Mail Sender IMPL, which is a class. Java Mail Sender is an interface. Java Mail Sender IMPL is a class. Okay, generally, okay, we just take normal programming concept only here. Okay, so I just want to send an email as a human. For example, we are the person, I want to send an email. Okay, so I want to send an email here. So how it is going to be? If you want to send an email, you are going to browser. You will go to browser. There you will type gmail.com. Okay, nothing but going to host. And next you will enter the username and password. And then you will click on submit. So once you click on submit, you are going to log in. Once you log in here, there you will come to inbox page or something like some sent page here. Okay, so there will be having a button called compose. Okay, when you click on a button called compose, it is going to open one new screen. Okay, that is actually called message. Okay, in this message you are going to enter two address. Okay, and you will be having CC carbon copy, BCC blind carbon copy, subject you will be having, and text we need to enter. And you can choose one file that is called attachment. And finally you will be having a button called send somewhere else. Okay, in a different place you will be having a button send. So once you click on send, it will be moved. It's a general. Okay, what you are just doing here, I'm just explaining. Okay, in a general steps here. Okay, you are going to one host. Okay, one mail service provider. You are going to one mail service provider. Okay, and second, you are actually login. Okay, third, okay, you are trying to create a new message. Okay, third, you are trying to create a new message. Fourth, message object is created. This message is called as MIME message. Programmatically, it is called MIME message. MIME stands for multi-purpose internet mail extension. Multi-purpose internet mail extension means we can send a file with any kind of content, any kind of attachment. That's actually called MIME concept here. Okay, and finally, what you are doing actually is a send by filling the data, provide data, and finally operation send. Okay, so going to mail service provider, we can also call it's a host and port. Okay, generally, if you want to go to any server, so if you write any web application previously, you might have written like this: HTTP colon local host something like 8080 slash app. Okay, so this is if you want to go to any server, IP address and port number required. IP address and port number required. Remember, any server, Gmail also one server, IP address and port number. This is called host and this is called port. Next, okay, here sometimes in real time you won't see any port number. Okay, just you will see something like IP address. Okay, if no port number provided, default port number will be 80. Remember here, it's a default port number is 80. Okay, so once we go to web application, at that time also I'll show. As of now, just remember this point: default port number 80, not 8080. Okay, it's just 80. Okay, observe here, I'll just give some points here. Here SMTP stands for simple mail transfer protocol. Simple mail transfer protocol, SMTP here. Okay, generally what are the steps we do? Steps to send email. Okay, as a user, it's a human interaction steps I'm just taking here. One, go to mail service provider. So that is actually host plus port. Generally we go, example, you are just typing actually http colon slash slash gmail.com, like this. You are just going here. Second steps, Okay, so that's actually login with mail service provider, login with host. I'm just writing here. That is username we need to enter and password we need to enter. Once you log in, click on compose button. Create new message. Okay, this is also called as MIME message. Okay, message is actually your general terminology. Programmatically, it's called MIME, multi-purpose internet mail extension. Okay, so next step here, once you create a MIME message here, okay, fill details in message. What details? To address, subject, text, CC, BCC, attachments. You can send multiple attachments, at least one. Okay, at least zero, at most n. Okay, so here this is we have, and finally send operation. Okay, these are the things you are doing as a human. You are just opening a browser and you are doing these things here. Okay, same things we have to do using program. Whatever we are performing operations using browser, same things as a human we are doing, same things we have to perform using program. Write a program to communicate with mail service provider and login. Write a program, that is actually write a programming point that creates a message. Write a programming point that is to set the details, and write a programming point here to send the message. Okay, finally send operation. Same things we have to do using our programming points. This can be achieved using Java mail sender and Java mail sender IMPL. This can be achieved using Java mail sender and Java mail sender IMPL. How these can be implemented, these 5 steps can be implemented, this interface and implementation we had to see now. Okay, and understand one more point here. It's a MIME. MIME stands for, it's a multi-purpose internet mail extension. Okay, in simple, any type of data, sending over network. That's actually MIME. It's a just a simple point here. So here I can send any kind of data here. Now observe carefully. I hope you understood all these points. Every day you might be doing all these points here. So how to achieve this? I'm showing step by step. Okay, concentrate. I am showing the concept of Spring Boot email programming here. Now step 1, we should go to mail service provider and login. First 2 steps, just concentrate here. Now to explain some details, I'm just giving a diagrammatical format. Okay, these are the human interaction steps, right? Just now concentrate. First of all, I'm just writing org.sf dot dot short package name I'm writing. It's a org.spring framework dot, like we have lengthy. Okay, just I'm taking, there is an interface. Plus indicates public. Plus means public, general meaning here. There is a Java mail sender. It's an interface. Java mail sender. This is predefined. You need not to write this. It's already created. It's a Java mail sender. Java mail sender is an interface. Remember always interface can never be instantiated. Object cannot be created for interface. So we have one implementation for this. Okay. There is a Java mail sender IMPL org.sf Java mail sender IMPL. This Java mail sender IMPL having some details. Okay, first of all, host. Host is actually string type. Second one is actually port. That is also string type. Okay, if you provide these two details, that means it is equals to going to browser and typing that one. For example, host you give something like some number or some name, okay, server name and IP address and port numbers. Consider like name given to IP address is host. Okay, so general difference between IP and host. Okay, if you want to see here, almost they are similar, slight different. Okay, so it's actually 127.0 point, okay, 192.168.25.21 is a IP address, is a number. Host, just I'm writing here. Okay, my PC. Okay, so dot NIT is actually host. Okay, so it's like this actually IP address and port number. IP stands for Internet Protocol, a unique number allocated to a system in the network. A unique name given to that IP is actually called host. Okay, so that's actually here. Real time, remember, IPs can also be changed of a system. Static and dynamic IPs will be there. That we see later. Just I'm explaining the point. What is the difference between host and IP? General meaning here. It's a host and port number. If we give these two, which is equals to going to that server, just going to server, not login, still going to server here. I have to say, please log in. Okay, log in with what? Username and password. Okay, and not only this, do you want some security? Do you want to use HTTP? Yes. Do you want to encode the data? Some properties will be there. They actually called Java mail properties. Okay, of type properties. Okay, this last one you will understand later. Okay, try to understand these four as of now. Okay, properties concept I'll explain. Okay, while writing the coding point. Okay, so here, what is the use of this one? If you look at, there is a implementation Java mail sender IMPL. It is actually a class. Okay, it's actually a class. These two are predefined. Just for understanding, I'm just drawing here clearly. Observe this actually is a relation, inheritance. They actually predefined. Now, what is the use of this class? Okay, by taking username, that's actually host and port. By taking host and port, okay. So step one, what we are doing, human is actually communicating to mail service provider. Step one, human is going to browser, typing gmail.com. Human is going to browser and typing gmail.com. Step number one, go to mail service provider. Okay, so here that is equals to Java mail sender will take the host and port. It will communicate to mail service provider. Step number two, log in with host. Okay, so by taking the username and password with even some extra properties, it will log in. So what is the work of Java mail sender internally is one, go to mail service provider. One, go to mail service provider. Two, log in. Log in with service provider. Okay, understand here. By taking the host and port, it will just try to communicate to mail service provider by taking username, password, and some properties. What are these properties? I'll show. Just wait for few minutes. You will come to know. I'll show some network protocol specific properties here. Okay. So this is the first step. Okay. Now I'm asking here. Okay. Do you know how to write configuration? Generally, in case of Spring, configurations are how many types? Configurations in Spring, how many types? Okay, it's actually total 3 types. Okay, one is actually XML configuration. Second, Java configuration. Third one, annotation configuration. But Spring Boot supports only, but Spring Boot actually supports only two. What are they? Java configuration and annotation configuration. Okay. So generally Spring Boot supports only two, Java and annotation. Do you know how to write annotation configuration? What are the annotations we have to write? Yeah, leave XML configuration, not required now. It's not there. In Spring Boot, not there. I wrote Spring. I wrote Spring here. Spring Boot, it is not there. I'm just asking Spring question only. Okay, there we need to write @component, @value, @auto void. So these are the general annotations. Of course, we have so many. Okay, these are annotation configuration. Okay, Java configuration, if you remember here, okay, @configuration, okay, @bean. Okay, I hope you remember this. Okay, when to choose Java configuration and when to choose annotation configuration. Yes, correct. Annotation configuration for our own class, predefined class if we have, then Java configuration. Okay, Java configuration and annotation configuration. Choose for our classes. Okay, choose for predefined class. Okay, now just I'm asking a small question here. Okay, now look at Java mail sender is there, right? Java mail sender IMPL. Okay, org.spring framework. Package name org.spring framework. So this is a predefined. I did not create. It's a predefined, already available, ready-made. It's a predefined. It's a predefined class. So tell me which configuration is suitable here. Annotation configuration or Java configuration. Predefined class. It's a predefined. So this actually Java configuration is suitable. So I'm just writing a sample program. Observe carefully how it looks. Public step number 1, write one public class. Just I'm showing here. Step number 2, apply @configuration. Step number 3, write one method. Number of methods equals to number of objects. Java mail sender IMPL. Okay, like this we have to write Java mail sender IMPL, some first letter small. General naming rule will be like this. Okay, open and close. On top of this we have to write @bean, B capital here. Okay, inside that we can set the logic. Okay, it's actually mail sender ms is equals to new Java mail sender IMPL, ems dot set host. You look at this one, ems dot set port, ems dot set username, ems dot set password, ems dot set Java mail properties, and finally return ms. I hope you understood this overview code. It's not a complete one, just understanding of overview here. Okay, like this. If this is the class, okay, okay, so this is the configuration. Okay, now the point is, do we need to write this configuration? No, not required. This configuration is done by Spring Boot itself. Okay, but it is saying some points. First, understand the meaning of configuration. First, I'm showing. Are you clear this overview code here? Are you clear with this overview code, everyone? Okay, this is called configuration, general configuration. Now, what is the use of writing this object? Understand, the use of this object, this class object, is going to mail service provider and log in with service provider. Okay, so for this purpose, this is required. Now, let me just create one small project and just concentrate. Just to concentrate here, what I'm just doing this time. I am creating one new project and adding one dependency. File, new, starter project I'm just creating. I'm just creating one starter project. If you look at, there I'm writing Spring Boot to email app. Okay, it's an email app. You can just use. I'm just giving name. Next button. If we come to next button here, what you have to choose here is dependencies. We can also call jars or predefined here. There I'm typing mail. Okay, there you see Java mail sender. Just click on that. Search with a word called mail or Java mail sender also you can type. Search with a word, type manually a word mail, choose Java mail sender. Click on this checkbox. Okay, there you will see option selected Java mail sender. Click on next button and finish button. Click on next button and finish button. It will do some download. Meanwhile, I'll open pom.xml. Do you remember the point? Every Spring Boot application is a child application that is connected to a parent project. Every Spring Boot project is a child project that's actually connected to parent project. In the demo session, I said, okay, what is Spring Boot? Spring Boot is actually a project. Okay, ours is actually called child project. Okay, ours is actually called child project. Okay, here you have to write 100 lines of code. Don't write 100 lines of code. In that, some 60 to 70% or more than that and less than that, some percentage of code is common. Okay, that is given by Spring Boot. What is Spring Boot? Spring Boot is actually parent project. It's actually project which is implemented using Spring framework. Spring Boot is nothing new. That is Spring only internally, but reducing your work. Okay, so what is the advantage of this Spring Boot? It says, a programmer, you create a child project and you write only code which is not common. Okay, this actually called common code, common classes, common jars. Okay, common configuration, whatever you call here, configuration, common plugins. Okay, database, servers. Okay, setup, everything it will give. Okay, still we did not come to database plugins and servers and all. Just today you will see few things. Okay, common classes, common jars, common code. Okay, so it says I'll provide all these common things. Such a concept name is actually auto configuration. Auto configuration, nothing but very simple. Okay, it is actually reducing your program work. Did you write any Spring application? Okay, so that depends percentages I can't give guarantee. Concept to concept it will change, but definitely majority of the percentage, if you go to data JPA, 95% it is going to give. Okay, if we come to web MVC, it will give more than 60%. Here email, almost 60% configuration it will only provide. That depends. Just understand why I'm just giving percentages, just for your understanding. Some code it will give and some code you should write. Okay, it's not an exact number, it's just for understanding, but this is confirmed. It's called auto configuration. Okay, if you want auto configuration, then what we need to do, add one starter. Okay, are you writing web programming? Did I add web also? File, new, starter project, jar. If you take where, web also will come. Jar, we have to choose. Email, Java mail sender, next button and finish button. Okay, open pom.xml. For every requirement, you will see one starter. For every requirement, you will see one starter. What is the work of the starter? This one, providing common code, common classes. Classes for email different, classes for database different, right? These are the common classes and all. Class means dot class file. Everything is a dot class only here. There's a meaning here. Okay. See, this auto configuration for email different, for web different, for REST programming different. So every requirement it is different. Okay. Initially, I gave list of starters also here. Okay, Spring Boot starter list. Just go to internet and type like this. You'll see here Spring Boot starter list here. Okay, it's a reference document. You can just go there. See here. For every requirement, there is one starter. Okay, Jersey starter is there, JDBC starter is there, Zook starter is there, JSON mail starter is there. Okay, OAuth starter is there, web starter is there, WebSocket, WebFlux, web service. Okay, integration, data rest, Solar, FreeMaker, Groovy, Redis, Neo4j, LDAP, JPA. Okay, Kausberg, Batch, Cache, AOP. Okay, everything is a starter. Okay, that starter says what are the requirements. Okay, do you want to write a JPA with Hibernate programming? Okay, do you want to write JPA with Hibernate programming? Don't write complete setup. Okay, Spring Boot reduces your work. Add this one. Add this one. Okay, so a starter is the one which provides common files, common code, and even some jars also. If you look at here, one jar is added extra here, that is called Jakarta mail. Okay, so this actually name given, you can see here Jakarta mail. Okay, and if we just remove this and again search, delete this dependency and again search, it won't come. Okay, you can come to dependency hierarchy. There also you can just confirm. Okay, Spring Boot starter mail. Okay, you can see here. So there's actually Jakarta annotations are there. Okay, and Jakarta mail, and you can just remove that dependency and you see this Jakarta mail will not be there. Okay, if you have doubt, just see I selected here. Okay, just come this and remove this, save, and this actually removing, still it's gone now. It's not there. Jakarta mail is not there. If you want to see from beginning to there, check it. Any Jakarta mail is there. Here only I selected, that is gone. Jakarta annotation was there previously, yes, it is there, but mail is not there. You can see there is no mail. You can see. Adding again back and save. Before Jakarta annotations here, it has come. Okay. See, when you add this starter here, what it is doing. Okay, this is a starter. Starter name I'm just giving. What this starter will do here, it will reduce your work in simple. From where it will get this details? From the parent. How parent we come to know here? It's a parent you added. Okay, Spring Boot parent project is actually providing this concept here. Okay, now come to know this point here. Okay, this is example configuration, example Java configuration. Now, what is starter? Why it is used? Okay, answer. A starter is a ready-made code plus setup that reduces programmer work to implement any application. Okay, in simple, common classes, code, configuration, jars, setup, etc. All. What are actually common? Everything it is providing. Okay, examples here. Spring Boot starter, that is actually JDBC. Okay, Spring Boot starter, email, data JPA, web. We have so many. From here onwards, our duty is to work on starters only. Okay, our duty is to work on starters only from here onwards. Okay, now if you look at here, Spring Boot starter mail has provided a configuration code for Java mail sender IMPL. That means whatever the code you wrote manually here, you don't write it. You don't write it. This is given by Spring Boot starter email. Okay, I hope you got this point. When you add that about dependency in project, you don't write this. Not only this one, even some jars also there. Of course, this class is also given. This Java mail sender class also given. Okay, so as of now, just for this one, even somewhat extra things also there. I'll show common classes, common configuration, common jars. Okay, everything is given by Spring Boot starter. Okay, this is a one here. Okay, configuration code for Java mail sender. Okay, jars required. Jars required for email coding. Jars required for email coding. Okay, setup for loading properties. Okay, do you remember if we write these properties? Okay, how to load properties in the bulk? Do you know how to load the properties in the bulk? Which annotation we should use? Okay, I'll help you to read single annotation at the rate value, to read single key value at the rate value, to read all properties. No, not loading properties file. I'm not asking loading properties file, reading the properties keys, reading keys in the bulk. Exactly. At the rate configuration properties. No, Satish, you are saying loading properties file. At the rate property source is for load file. No, I'm not asking this one. I'm asking reading keys into code bulk. That is at the rate configuration properties. Second one. I'm asking second one. You got the point? At the rate configuration properties. Okay. So now just I'm writing a small thing here. Just come here. Are you able to see dashes here? Dash is there, right? Okay. Dash indicates that value should come at runtime. Okay. Because host, this code is okay. Code is okay, but value should come at runtime. How to pass actually here? By using properties file. Let me open properties file here. Just I'm showing the overview, not this complete here. Okay. Spring dot mail dot. Okay. There I'm just writing here. It's a host. Now look at spring dot mail dot port. These are predefined. Spring dot mail dot username. Spring dot mail dot password. Spring dot mail dot properties. See here, properties means key and value. Here we need to pass like this. Just control plus click. Control plus click. And see here. This is internally set method. Scroll up. Scroll up. Now look at this one. I hope you understand by seeing this. Look at. So prefix means every key must start with this one, right? So every key must start with prefix, that is spring.mail. Now tell me how to access this variable in the properties file. This time this is a predefined. Look at the variable and look at the prefix. Tell me how to access. Not single, bulk. Properties. I'm asking what is the key to write. Reverse. Spring.mail.host. You got my point? Now tell me how to access below one. You reply, not a issue here. This is for understanding Spring Boot internal structure. It's a spring.mail.port. Okay. Please give reply. I can't shout even more. I have no energy also. Okay. Now, can you just tell me how to access this one? Very good. And protocol default value is there. Now, tell me how to access this properties. Name is given properties, but it's internally mapped. Do you know how to read the map value? First, you should write spring dot mail dot properties dot key is equals to value. Key is equals to value. Okay, this code. Okay, now I'm asking question. Did we write this class? Did we write this class? Okay, that means this is also our work reduced. Loading properties also reduced. It's a predefined. This comes under a concept called auto configuration. We had to see all multiple. We had to see. Okay, now these are all predefined keys. You may get doubts, sir, how can we confirm these only keys? In the starting, I gave a link, Spring Boot properties file. Click on this link. All keys you can see here. What is your concept name? Okay, is your concept name is email? Then go here and see. Is your concept name is web, template, server, security, actuator, dev tools, testing, data, JSON, cache, core? What is your properties? Okay, as of now you will not understand this, so I am just giving manually. Okay, if you want to see all predefined keys, go to link. It's official doc only. Okay, don't worry, we'll see. So here, even if you come and just press control space also, you can see. Go on chapter by chapter, you will understand. It's the first one only. This chapter, that too I am explaining for your understanding only. Okay, just for Spring Boot, how Spring Boot internally works, first understanding only. Don't worry, it takes some time. Okay, see here, Spring Boot starter email has provided. If we add this dependency, you will get the configuration code. Okay, you will get the jars required. You will get the setup for loading properties. Okay, so these are all given by Spring Boot starter email. We yet to see remaining also. Just don't worry. So this is the benefit of Spring Boot. It says this object is created by Spring Boot itself. Spring Boot itself here. Okay. So here, are you clear up points up to this one? Okay. I'll give some shortcuts also how to open predefined files and all. Okay. So today I'm just planning to explain the concept of auto configuration with email. Okay, my target is not writing email programming. Actually, we write email programming also, but majorly I want to show the concept of auto configuration overview. Okay, don't worry. From here onwards, every chapter contains auto configuration. Okay, there we are going to learn one by one, point by point here. Okay, today I just gave overview here.